Welcome back to the program, everyone. My name is Jeff, otherwise known as the Economic Prepper. I haven't made a video in a little bit. Holidays. We all know, like under the gun of holidays. I was on a business trip too, all kinds of stuff. But I wanted to wish everyone who's ever watched me in the last 3+ years of this channel a Merry Crypto Christmas. Okay, and we can say that with confidence now, given that you can actually say Christmas these days. Unbelievable. I actually stopped by a mall locally here, and it was good to see that the mall was thriving, and there were lots of people there, and it's hard to find a parking spot, like the old days. Okay? So it's things are slowly getting better, but I wanted to stop by, talk to you about 2025, what the outlook looks like. We are, as I mentioned in recent videos, that for the past 4 years, going back 4 years and 4 years before that, and so on, the lowest point of any 4-year cycle tends to be the week of a presidential election. What does that mean going forward? It probably means we're not going to get below 65,000 ever again. That's probably what it means, which seems reasonable if you think about the price being 90 to 100,000 as I make this video, and I know that's a big range. Obviously, the difference of $10,000 matters a lot to a lot of people. It would matter to me too. But when we get into a couple $100,000, $300,000, $400,000 Bitcoin, you're going to see that the noise between 90 and 100,000 shrinks. Now, I'm not going to show a chart today, but if you go back and look at what the charts used to look like, even as the run up to 20,000 or the run up to 1,000, they get smaller and smaller and smaller over time because that number, the present number, gets really, really big. And I found that a lot of people are interested in the space. Like I was on the business trip. I took 2 different Uber drivers, 2 different long trips, like half an hour. And for the bulk of that time, I was talking about Bitcoin. And the people were engaged. They were interested. They even wanted my number, my contact information, which is always in the description of these videos. They just want to know more, and they want a reliable source. So it's come to be between my activities on YouTube and on Twitter and other places that if you're in the Bitcoin circle and have been here a while, you tend to know a lot about the history of things. But for someone that's new, that comes to this space, or newer, they don't know the history. Like, for example, Richard Hart just got mentioned recently on Twitter. I retweeted something about him. If you don't know who that is, it goes in the category of you don't know the history of cryptocurrency. Richard Hart, he made Hex, Pulse X, Pulse Chain, and now he's in hot water for not doing the right thing. But he's also been on record of saying some very sketchy things like, all crypto is a Ponzi scheme, or it's all a scam. Words to that effect. It's not an exact quote, but I know that things that he was basically saying that it's anyone who has a project should be pumping it up. Now, it doesn't sit well with a lot of different investors, especially Bitcoin maximalists, as you can imagine. But if you don't know names like Roger Ver or Charlie or Bobby Lee or Charles Hoskinson, Reggie Singleton? Why am I drawing a blank of Reggie Middleton? Okay. Reggie Middleton, Gavin Wood, Nick Szabo. I'm going right off the top of my head here. Roger Ver, I said. Satoshi Nakamoto, obviously Hal Finney, the Cyberpunks, Vitalik Buterin, all these different names, plus all these different stories from history. Bitcoin has only been around since 2008, 2009, but these 16 years have been eventful to say the least. Brad Garlinghouse, another name with XRP, and Jed McClone. You got to know these names or be able to look them up and say, who are these people? And that kind of explains why Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym, and you don't really know who created Bitcoin. He would probably have gone the path of Julian Assange or Ross Ulbricht, 2 other names you should know. But it dawned on me that maybe there's a need in the crypto space for a crypto historian. Now, a lot of people that have heard me over the years and how I bring in history and economics, how all these pieces fit together in a different perspective, I like to share that. from time to time, because a lot of people don't know Jekyll Island and what happened in 1913, the history of the U.S. dollar in 1913, where it was created, along with the Federal Reserve and the Internal Revenue Service. I won't get into all that, but that happened in 1913. Then Bretton Woods in 1944, then going up to gold standard in August of 1971, and on and on and on. The what do they call it? The financial crisis, or the great financial crisis of 2008. All these events happened and changed the dollar and changed the financial system, which is not an economy, it's a financial system. It's a debt-based financial system. All those things have happened over time, but if you don't know the history, or at least know how to find out more about the history and some things to look up in the names, and how do you know that, do you trust these people that are running these projects, and where do they come from? Back in the day when everybody was investigating new projects, you would go and you look up the team. And I remember there was, for a while, there was a particular project. I don't remember the project. If you know what it is, put it down in the comments. And by the way, like, share, subscribe. Merry Christmas too. But I remember a project where you look up the team and they were using like pictures of celebrities that had nothing to do with the project as members of their team. And they were just like, they made up a name or whatever, but that's what they would do. They would make up a web page. They'd make up a team. You have to do your homework of who these are. And you see these names. If you see Gavin Wood or Charles Hoskinson or someone, or Vitalik Buterin, someone that you know and that you like, Vitalik's not in that category for me, but that's another time, another place, another story. But you get to see like some of the names, like, okay, I trust that name. I remember he was associated with that project. He's a good developer. I'm glad to see he's on this team. Or he's advising this project or something, that they're interrelated. But there's a lot of history in crypto, even in less than 20 years. And a lot of people don't know it, especially as people get in, they want to learn, how do I get Bitcoin? They don't even know that they need to get it off their website or the app and store it safely. So that's an initial conversation when I used to do, and I still do them from time to time. And if you wanted to have one of these, let me know. But I used to spend 45 minutes to an hour with someone, and I would explain, how do you get Bitcoin? Why do you need Bitcoin? How do you move Bitcoin? How do you store it safely? Cover all those basics. And then you could start to think, okay, now I know why I'm getting out of the dollar system. I know why I need something like Bitcoin. I know maybe I need gold and silver too, just to hedge my bets. But after you've done all that and gotten those ducks in a row, then you maybe start like, okay, I know what Bitcoin, I kind of know it backwards and frontwards, maybe not as well as some other people, but I know enough to be dangerous. So I'll keep stacking my sats and building my Bitcoin, but now I'm interested in these other projects. So now, with that level of understanding and education of Bitcoin, you can say, how is Project X different from Bitcoin? Does it have its own blockchain? Is it mined? Is it decentralized? What is the use case? What is the purpose for this coin? Is it just a meme that makes people happy? That could be fine. I mean, that's how Doge started, right? That can be fine for a short while. Or Pepe coin. All these some meme coins get very popular, but you have to eventually have a usage and a community to drive. Like, the only reason that prices go up is that people buy into it. So if people buy into it literally with their money, they buy into it, that's what drives the price up. And early adopters get rewarded for people that come along and drive the price up. That's where people can get in trouble. And I've never pumped a coin. I've never said this coin is great. I've talked about projects, but I never endorse them. Okay, I talk about them and I say, here's my viewpoints, here's what I think, pluses and minuses, this is the use case, and so on. Basically, I go through my rigor of process of going through a project and saying, why does it exist? Who's behind it? What problems is it trying to solve? Do I agree that's a good use of blockchain and this project has a good long-term outlook or not? That's what I do. So, long story short, I'm considering hanging up a shingle of being a crypto historian, because that may add value to the community. I've kind of done it over the years anyway. But what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. I wanted to get one video out before the holiday season and wish everyone a Merry Crypto Christmas. And I will definitely be talking to you rather soon. But until then, enjoy your holidays and I'll see you next video. Take care.